Hey guys, let's talk speed. Gotta love a bit of speed. Speed is about choosing the appropriate speed for the road and weather conditions. This may not be the speed limit. That comes into a legal obligation. When we talk about marking, we talk about three areas. We talk about safety, legality, and then test pass. We must balance progress with restraint to ensure that we always keep a safe speed for the conditions. This will introduce what we call the limit point of view. This is the length of unbroken road in view ahead. We partner this with our basic safety rule. We must be able to stop within the distance we can see to be clear at all points. So as we approach a corner and our view ahead starts to drop, our speed is likely to be dropping with our view. As we come round the corner and our view is staying the same, we can maintain our speed. As we're coming out of the corner and our view is getting better, we can consider acceleration, which we'll talk about in the next video. Nice little exhibition of positioning there by the Clio. So let's take a look at a few clips and see what we find. Okay, so let's start by talking limit point. Now, as we can see in this clip, we can see a few corners away. That's about 500 yards down the road. However, because the road isn't unbroken between us and that point, it's not our limit point. Our limit point is actually a lot closer. It's the section where the two sides of the road meet, as you can see in this little section here. Even though we're not going to be basing the current events on what we can see down 500 yards in the future, we can still use that information as we get closer to the area. For example, it might tell you how busy the road is likely to be. However, it does not mean it's safe to do a speed that is over what our current limit point would allow. Now, it's a 60-mile-an-hour stretch of road, and the limit point is going to help determine what kind of speed we can actually approach these bends at. Because as our vision starts to drop, our speed's going to start dropping too. As our vision stays the same, our speed can maintain. As the vision starts to increase, we can start to consider acceleration. But it still brings in this basic safety rule. We must still be able to stop within the distance we can see to be clear on our side of the road. This is what I call the unicorn rule, because until you can see round that corner, you cannot tell me there's not a unicorn there. And unicorn is just code for hazard. Okay, so it's time to introduce landing spots. Simply put, a landing spot is the next safe location you can get yourself and your vehicle to, where you could pass another vehicle, or just generally keep yourself safe from something. So a landing spot in this instance, in the clips we're watching, we're talking about parked cars. So my landing spot could be just before entering a space where parked cars are on the opposite side, in order to let an oncoming car through, or I could move up to where I believe their landing spot would be, which could be a space between parked cars large enough for their vehicle to pull in and allow me to pass. Or it could just be my holdback position, approximately 2 car lengths before the parked car and slightly offset so I can see round it. I could hold in this position until I'm confident I can move up to my next landing spot, which would be potentially just after the car. It's important to use this with a bit of give and take. There's no sense in just racing down a road just to prove a point, coming up to a vehicle where there's no places to pass. It's just going to mean someone's going to have to reverse and it just ends up taking longer. What you want to look for is your landing spot. We want to partner our landing spot with our limit point in order to make sure we can get to our next landing spot safely. Landing spots ideally come into all of our driving, so it could be a road like this with parked cars, it could be for overtaking, or it could be a single track road with passing places. The idea is we look for that landing spot as a safe next location. So if we're uncertain if we can proceed past that point, we're going to that point and no further until we've then been able to reassess and decide it's safe to continue. Alright guys, thanks for watching that episode. I really enjoyed putting it together. Speed is one of those quite controversial things. Everyone's going to have a different idea about what a suitable speed is, and with everything we do, start slow and then build up. But we need to bear in mind, as the risk starts to increase, simply decrease the speed. Risk increases, speed decreases. If the safety bubble starts getting affected, consider the effect that's going to have on your speed and positions and all of this other stuff as well. Remember, we're trying to move away from danger. Partner it with your basic safety rule, the unicorn rule, which honestly I think that came out really well. But yeah, you must be able to stop within the distance you can see clear on your side of the road. It is a big deal. That is a basic safety rule. If you can't, and you come around the corner, something's there, you've already hit it before you even started braking. So you must be able to stop within that distance you can see really clear. And the more comfortable you are with it, the smoother you can make it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, do the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, video. The next one's really good. I really like the way the next one's coming together, and there's a nice surprise in it. So go and watch that. It's pretty good, pretty great. See you next time.